Jeremy. Job, rapid recovery. Jeremy grew up in the slums of Boston, born from a fling between his mother and a mysterious French assassin. He was the runt of the litter with 7 older brothers. He and his brothers spent their days usually getting into street fights, except because Jeremy was the youngest and the smallest, he was never able to get any punches in before his brothers cleaned things up. To get around this, Jeremy decided that in order to get some swings in before his brothers, he had to be faster than them. So he trained every day, running everywhere he went. He just kept running and running and running some more, up until he was finally fast enough to beat his brothers to the scraps. He got so good at it that he took up a life as a mercenary, being recruited into Team Fortress as a scout. Someone who could run in first and relay back to his team the situation while also getting in some quick pot shots along the way. He also can't help but show off while doing so. He's pretty confident in his abilities. And while he sometimes can't quite compare to the other mercs, due to him often being the butt of their jokes, his confidence is admittedly somewhat earned. And now he's here today to show off his moves, especially to the ladies, in the world of Super Smash Bros. So getting right into things, the Scout, just like in Team Fortress 2, would be one of the frailest characters, but makes up for that with excellent mobility. Normally the Scout's main gimmick compared to the other mercs is being the only one with a natural double jump, but since everyone in Smash has one, I feel it only right to give the Scout 3 jumps, letting him keep his mechanic of having more jumps than most characters, plus it could also reference his Autonomizer bat, which does let him naturally triple jump. Beyond that, he would also have the ability to wall jump and crawl. I don't believe the Scout had any real formal combat training. Everything he knows, he learned growing up on the streets of Boston. As such, I see Scout as a very scrappy kind of character, using underhanded, innovative street tactics while also showing off a bit here and there. He just can't help himself. Scout always goes into fights with some kind of blunt object to knock his foe's lights out, but in this case, he'll mainly be sticking to his signature aluminum baseball bat, which is exactly what he'll be using for his 3-hit jab, replicating his same melee attack animation shown in Team Fortress 2. Starting with a horizontal bat swing to the left, then a downward vertical swing for the second hit, then ends with a downward diagonal swing to launch foes away. That last hit specifically references his melee critical hit animation. Oh, that reminds me! All of Scout's attacks have a 2% chance to crit and deal double damage. The Scout's dash attack can harken back to his love of baseball and have him do a sliding baseball kick, getting low to the ground and popping foes into the air if it hits. A pretty safe dash attack compared to others, adding to Scout's already impressive movement repertoire. His side tilt can have him stab the top of his bat straight forward, a dirty move that has very little launch potential but causes a lot of hit stun, making it great for either starting or extending combos. The up tilt can be the first to have the Scout start to show his moves, having him do a flashy handstand to kick one of his feet straight into the air. It's a narrow attack, so it's hard to aim, but it comes out pretty quickly and has surprisingly little end lag, though Scout will remain in his handstand for a bit if you let him, but it will cancel as soon as you use any other action once the real end lag ends. The down tilt can just be a horizontal bat swing while crouching low to the ground, just like he does in his main game. This is another great poking tool for setting up foes for combos. For the Scout's side smash, he pulls out his wooden Sandman and replicates the Sandman taunt. Home run, having him do a traditional baseball bat swing. If this attack connects, it causes the bonk effect on foes, and the bat can also reflect projectiles. For his up smash, he does a full circular swing with his bat, starting from low back, swinging overhead from low to high, and ending high back. A kinda slow move compared to its others, but still relatively fast. One that can scoop up foes right in front of Scout and launch them into the air. This attack references one of the moves that he uses on Heavy in his Meet the Scout trailer. For his down smash, he does a part of his Boston breakdance, another one of his taunts, now turned attack to kick his legs around and launch any foe too close to the show. It hits on both sides a few times, alternating sides as he dances, and he does end it with another pose, but the pose can be cancelled. For his aerials, his neutral air can have him do the splits, kicking both feet horizontally outwards at the same time to hit anyone on either side of him. His forward air can have him swing his bat vertically from high to low forward, just like he does to finish off the heavy in his trailer. Even though he's more into baseball than volleyball, this is an attack that can spike foes if it sweet spots. The back air can have Scout pose to kick his foot behind himself. He's just showing off again, but it's still a strong attack that can also be cancelled mid-pose. The up air can have Scout turn upside down to do a scissor kick upward, clicking his heels together at the end of the attack. It can scoop up foes to his sides, and the heel click acts as a sweet spot to deal more damage and launch foes into straighter angles. And for his down air, he can do some bicycle kicks downward, spinning his legs like you would to pedal a bike to deal damage below himself. It deals multiple hits of damage before popping foes away with the final kick. The Scout can grab with one arm, picking them up the same way he picks up girls, which can't be that comfortable for anybody. He pummels by smacking them with the bottom of his bat, which I hope he doesn't do to the girls he tries to pick up, though that might explain why he's still single, amongst other reasons. For his forward throw, he tosses the foe up, then he does a baseball swing with his bat to send him out of the park. His back throw can have him wrap his bat around the foe's neck, then pulls back to slam them into the ground behind, bouncing them into the air. The up throw can have Scout spin to throw the foe into the air with one arm, after which Scout promptly flexes to show off how strong he is. This is his weakest throw. And the down throw can have Scout trip the foe to the ground and smack them with his bat a few times before they get bounced away with the final strongest strike. The Scout's special attacks will be where he moves away from his melee and starts pulling out the big guns. Or kinda big guns? They're not really that big. His neutral special can be the Scout's primary scatter gun, a short double-barreled lever-action shotgun. He fires it straight forward, shooting a blast that extends the further it flies, but also weakens as it does so, dealing a lot of damage and launch power when close, and negligible damage with no hits done at its max range. The scatter gun also has a higher than normal crit chance if it hits somebody at point-blank range. And the cool thing about this move, while you hold the button down, he'll keep firing it forward over and over automatically, with only a small cooldown after every 6 shots to reload, but he'll immediately resume firing after the reload if you kept the button held down. On top of that, while holding the special button down as he fires his scatter gun, this also allows Scout to strafe, letting him run forward, backward, and even jump while he automatically fires his scatter gun, further increasing Scout's already insane mobility options. For the Scout's side special, he pulls out his default secondary weapon, his pistol. The pistol functions near identically to his scattergun, firing it straight forwards, being able to fire it automatically by holding the special button down after activation, and having the option to strafe while firing. The big difference between the two guns being that the pistol fires small narrow shots, but they have superior range with no damage drop-off. But even then, it's still relatively weak, only dealing small flinching damage. But the pistol is a lot more spammable, able to fire 12 very quick shots before needing a quick reload. Moving right along to the Scout's up special, he could use another one of his shotguns, the Force of Nature, but he'll be using it very differently compared to his scattergun. When you fire the Force of Nature, its strong kickback pushes Scout into opposite of whatever direction he fired it into, and it can be fired into any direction you wish based on controller input. Except, it always fires into the direction opposite of where you pointed the control stick. This is to prioritize movement. This allows the Force of Nature to be used as a recovery option, since at default, when holding up, he'll fire the gun downward, which will propel Scout higher into the air. It doesn't send him that much higher compared to his jumps, but having 2 mid-air jumps plus high aerial mobility should really mean that Scout will still have excellent recovery regardless. It will put him into freefall when used in the air, but I can still see this as a great mobility option, letting Scout maneuver himself quite easily. As for the power of the gun itself, it works like his scattergun with less range, dealing more damage the closer foes are to the barrel. Additionally, if you shoot a foe point blank while it's firing downward, it will spike them. And finally, for the Scout's down special, he'll be downing his favorite drink, Bonk Atomic Punch. This incredibly unhealthy drink would normally just kill a man, but not the Scout. After chugging, he becomes completely invincible for some reason. After drinking it, Scout becomes immune to all damage for the next 8 seconds. His percentage will not increase at all. However, while under its effects, he'll be unable to use any of his specials or smash attacks. His other attacks and grabs are free game though. He is also still susceptible to knockback, it's just damage that he can't take. So any knockback dealt to him will be calculated based on his current damage percent. But he is immune to the knockback and hit stun caused by projectiles. So drinking this lets him completely counter projectile spammers. Why don't they have it in stock? Now you do need to be wary when the effects of the punch wear off, because when they do, Scout becomes sluggish for a few seconds, leaving him open to punishment. And for the sake of his kidneys, liver, and all of his other organs really, he has to wait for around 25 seconds before he can drink another can. So in short, Scout is a master of mobility, escape options, poke pressure, hit and run, and overall just being a big show-off. Think like the Scout, become the Scout. That's how you'll get ahead. Well, not when it comes to being respected by your peers, or getting dates, or getting a formal education. You know what? Just forget I said anything. For the Scout's final smash! He could have a cinematic final smash that can only target one opponent. After chugging a can of Criticola, he dashes forward and any foe in his way will be pulled in. It then plays out with Scout starting a one-sided street brawl with that foe, beating the ever-living tar out of them, racking up tons of damage. The smash finishes with Scout winding up his bat and smashing the foe's cranium with a massive bonk, hitting them so hard that they're launched away as soon as the cinematic concludes. For the Scout's colors, I'll be giving him the same color schemes that I gave to both Heavy and Soldier, starting with the Redman Man colors, then the Blutarch Man colors, then the Gray Man colors, then here's Purple for Miss Pauline and the Administrator, here's Yellow, here's Green, here's Black, and finally, from Man vs. Machine, a Scout Bot alternate costume. For the stage intro, Scout appears from one of the engineer's teleporters, which breaks as soon as he steps off. For his taunts, his first can be his scattergun taunt, where he slaps his thigh while pretending to ride a horse and shouts, "Woo-hoo-hoo!" His second can be his pistol taunt, where Scout starts jogging in place while checking his neck pulse and looking at an imaginary watch. During this, he'll shout,
"I'm running circles around you!"
And his last can be his default bat taunt, where he spreads his arms before doing a gesture with his left arm, during which he says,
"Who wants some of this?"
And finally, for the Scout's victory animations, they can be 3 more of Scout's taunts, with his first having him do his Bat in 1,000 taunt, showing Scout spinning his bat in his hand, then confidently yawns while popping it up and saying,
"Oh yeah, I'm the best."
His second can be his full Boston break dance, popping off on his fallen foes while yelling,
"Yeah, that just happened!"
And his final can be Deep Fried Desire, where Scout is just eating fried chicken out of a bucket and he says,
Oh man, classic Scout.
Try not to fall for him. And that does it for What If the Scout Was in Smash! So, if you enjoyed what you saw and would like to see even more characters be given possible Smash movesets, be sure to subscribe. I also recently just started a new series of moveset videos centered around Pokemon Unite. If you're interested in that, please go check it out. And if you guys want to support my channel and help me be able to make more content for you guys, you can click the join button either below the video or my main page to become a sponsor for my channel. Doing so will get you access to my Discord server as well as channel emotes. You can guarantee that your name appears in my videos or even get the option of knowing what if characters are coming up next a week in advance. I really appreciate anything that can be contributed. And of course, if you have a character that you want to see be given a possible Smash moveset, or a Pokemon that you want to see be given a possible Unite moveset, leave a comment down below or contact me on Twitter at BrawlFan1 on Twit. I hope you all enjoyed, and thank you so much for watching!